3 months ago, I made a video comparing 4 Macs and it got over 30,000 views with only 100 subscribers. So I thought I'd give a quick update on the Mac that I chose 3 months ago and how it's performing today, as well as what decision I would make today if I was in your shoes. In the previous video, I ordered 2 Macs, the M2 MacBook Air and the M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I put those 2 computers to the test. At the time, the MacBook Air had the new M2 processor and the MacBook Pro had the old M1 Pro processor, and I was trying to figure out which one would be better for my case, which form factor would be the best for me, and how could I utilize this to its greatest potential. And at the end of the day, I went with the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the dedicated media engine, and for me personally, I think I made the right decision. But we're going to go over it today and see what decision is best for you and what decision I would make today. So there's a lot of things to consider when buying a new laptop. You got to look at portability, the amount of performance that you can draw out of that, battery life, a whole bunch of things. And the one thing that was drawing me to the MacBook Air in the testing was the portability and how light and small it was and how easy it would be to fit into a backpack or something like that. But after spending 3 months with this 14-inch MacBook Pro, I realized that that weight, that small size difference really did not have much of an impact whatsoever. You see, at the end of the day, the heaviest thing in my bag was not the laptop, it was the camera and the camera lenses. Those are just going to outweigh it pretty much any laptop out there. And so I barely even noticed it, and with that super small 1-inch size difference, it's almost non-noticeable. You can put it in your bag. I had no issues with it. I've been traveling with it for the last couple months, but yet again, the heaviest thing in my bag is the camera setup. So the laptop, the difference wasn't even that noticeable. For anybody wondering, it is extremely hot. I'm on the 2nd floor because I'm sharing a cabin with family and you can only get so much free personal space and time. So I actually filmed this exact thing yesterday. I'm locked in a room with all the windows closed and it's on the 2nd floor and I'm actually dying. I do excuse the grossness. And it was so hot and I was so sweaty, it was so gross. I almost put it out, but I thought I'd redo it so you didn't have to look at my sweaty face for 3.5 minutes. But getting back to the topic, what decision would I make today if I had to buy a brand new laptop? Because if we look at the refurbished section of the Apple Store, my M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro is no longer available, so that option isn't available for you anymore. So what decision would I want you to make? What decision would I make if I was you? Whatever it is. Looking at this list of laptops, I think it's important to realize that there is a new computer added to this list from the previous video, and that is the 15-inch MacBook Air. Other than that, all the computers remain the same. You still have the 14-inch MacBook Pros, the 16-inch MacBook Pros, the 13-inch MacBook Pros, which was such a silly thing to do. We'll get into that later. But when we're looking at all these computers, I think it's important to realize what is your use case. If you are a student or just an employee doing standard video calls, you're doing some Excel sheets, the MacBook Air 13 or 15-inch doesn't matter, it's probably going to be the laptop for you. But if you need a little bit more media heavy processing, or you just want to see what's available, what other options you have, we'll look into those right now. Okay, so currently we're in the Apple Refurbished section, and honestly this is one of my favorite places in the Apple Store. But before we do that, I just want to go over some quick standard pricing on some products before we get into what the discounts look like and what's available for you. So if we look at all the standard models, these are all the base models in Canadian prices. So if you want to convert to USD, you can do that by yourself. But starting out at the 13-inch, we were at $1,450 for the base model. 15-inch is $1,750, so a $300 increase for 2 more inches of screen. Both of those are the 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, 8 gigabytes worth of RAM, and 256 gigabytes worth of storage. If you want to move over to the M2 13-inch MacBook Pro, this is not the M2 Pro, M2 Max. This is the standard 13-inch M2 MacBook Pro. We're starting off at $1,699 for the 8-core CPU, the 10-core GPU, 8 gigabytes worth of RAM, and 256 gigabytes worth of storage. Honestly, for a MacBook Pro that was released in 2022, that's pathetic specs. Like, who is gonna get a MacBook Pro and want 8 gigabytes worth of RAM or a 1/4 terabyte worth of storage? Everybody's gonna obviously increase that right off the bat, so I think it's really silly in my personal opinion. But working our way down, we start off at the 14-inch M2 Pro MacBook Pro, which starts off at $25.99. I got this M1 Pro MacBook Pro for I think $1,900 in the refurbished section. Under $2,000, I got an M1 Pro laptop. It was crazy. But starting off, that M2 Pro 14-inch is $25.99, and that is for 16 gigabytes worth of RAM, 512 gigabytes worth of storage, 10-core CPU, 16-core GPU. How crazy is that? And then if you want the bigger screen, the 16-inch MacBook Pro M2 Pro, that's starting off at $31.99. And that's going to come with bigger cores, so that is a 12-core CPU, 19-core GPU, Still 16 gigabytes worth of RAM and 512 gigabytes worth of storage. So these are all the retail specs and prices. So that's what we're going to be basing this entire refurbished section investigation on, is the retail prices and the retail specs and what you can get for a discount. So if we go into the refurbished section, one of the biggest deals that I see straight off the bat is you can get a 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 Pro chip. That's 10 core CPU, that is a 16 core GPU, a little less than the M2 version, I know. You can still get that 16-inch laptop for $2419, which is $2,400 essentially. What an amazing deal. You're saving about $800 just getting the previous models, which is still amazing. Not a lot of people are upgrading to the M2 yet for this amazing price. If I want a 16-inch laptop, if I want that bigger screen and that excellent performance, this is no debate, this is what I'm gonna buy. So if we continue looking through some more, let's go into the M2 MacBook Pros. We got this 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, 13-inch M2 MacBook Pro for $1,450. If you want that M2 MacBook Pro, if you're that super small group of people who want that device, there you go. You can save $250, just like that. But moving past this atrocious device, let's get into some of the 14-inch M2 MacBook Pros. So we can see here we have an M2 Pro 14-inch available for $2,209, so $2,200. You're saving almost $400 on this device. The specs are coming in at the base model, 16 gigabytes worth of RAM, half terabyte worth of storage, but you're saving that money. If I was to buy one now, this is probably what I would buy, because my device that I'm using right now, this M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, is not available in the refurbished section anymore. And a lot of these refurbished section devices come and go so quickly that it really is just the luck of the draw, what's available at the time. And so you guys got to be quick. You got to see what's available, and you got to take advantage of these amazing deals. So we found a 16-inch MacBook Pro M2 Pro chip with 12-core CPU, 19-core GPU, space gray for $2,930. That's not great. It's not bad, but you can see that there's still discounts available. You're saving about $500. And if you're trying to put that $500 towards maybe more SSDs or camera equipment or whatever it may be, microphones, you just save that money right there. Pretty cool. So now we're gonna go over to the MacBook Air. So this M2 MacBook Air, 13-inch has been around for about a year now. You can save $200 just like that by just picking up something from the refurbished section, and probably most of these laptops were just opened, even if that, barely used. So you're gonna get an amazing device. You can see its standard specs. If we move down, we can get stuff with a little bit more storage. I don't see any of the 15-inch screens yet, but that's probably because it's such a new laptop. But all these 13-inch MacBook Airs, if you're not able to get the student discount, this is a great option. I remember thinking back when the first M1 Pro came out, the baseline model wasn't going to be enough for anybody. Those were my thoughts. And boy was I wrong. So I guarantee you that this M2 Pro, the baseline model for the 14-inch, is going to be enough for you. If the M1 Pro is enough for me, the M2 Pro is going to be the same, if not slightly better, so it can probably be enough for you as well. Remember, 90% of people can probably get away with the MacBook Air, 13 or 15-inch, doesn't matter because they're the exact same specs. But if you do need that little bit more, that 14-inch MacBook Pro is going to be the perfect computer for you, and the perfect computer that can last you 5, maybe even 10 years if you treat it properly. But I want to hear your thoughts below. Let me know what computer you would buy down in the comments below, and what computer you currently have, and if it's enough to service your needs. Thank you to everybody for sticking around. Subscribe. There's going to be a lot more videos coming down the pipe right now, and I'm just happy to be able to create for you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the summer. If it's not boiling hot where you are, you're a lucky son. And if it's crazy temperature where I'm assuming everybody else is around the world, drink lots of water, stay in the shade, try to avoid the heat as much as possible. If you have AC, let your friends and family use it as well. And if you want to send me an AC unit, you let me know. But with all that being said, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of the day.